Are you a pervert or something? Okay. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
Hold on a sec. I just
National
want
Pornographic says it.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15 what?
The whales have a 15-foot penis. I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15
Are
what?
you a pervert or something? Okay. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
Hold on a sec. I just
National Pornographic says it.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15 what?
The whales have a 15-foot penis. I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15 what?
Are you a pervert or something? Okay. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
Hold on a sec. I just
National Pornographic says it.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15 what?
The whales have a 15-foot penis. I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
I'm sorry, Ken. You cut out there. They have a 15
Are
what?
you a pervert or something? Okay. The whales have a 15-foot penis.
What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Tonight, we have a video from a channel called Deflate, who is going to make the argument that atheism is illogical and inconsistent because it doesn't provide some kind of absolute or objective meaning to the universe and to ourselves. So we're going to be covering that tonight. If you're interested in this particular topic, then please stay tuned. All right, heathens. Before we get into it tonight, just wanted to let you guys know what I'm drinking. And this is blackberry moonshine from, it's from Tennessee, but it's Sugarland Shine is what it's from. I mixed it with some Sprite, and boy, does it make some tasty ass drink.
Sprite Zero.
Sprite Zero, yes. I do want to say hi to all the Skeptic Mafia members in the chat. Cadence, Jonathan Nickel, Jane Pusecker, Chrismer and Dave, Terrence Clark, Alex Baranowski, Jew Kane. I appreciate all you guys being here. I appreciate everybody being here. And Vandy asks, how's it going, GE? You know, it's going really, really good. We had a little bit of a COVID-19 scare last weekend, and Xander got tested. Everything's fine. He's negative, so nobody's in trouble with the COVID-19. So just hi to everybody. For the Skeptic Mafia, we are going to be having our June monthly hangout tomorrow on 4th of July. Most likely sometime in the afternoon. I'm thinking somewhere around 3 p.m. Central. We can discuss that in the Discord that you guys get if you guys want to hop in there at some point. Or you guys can contact me personally to see what kind of time works out for you. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that. At Anal OG, I think that's supposed to be analog, but the way that it's capitalized looks like it's Anal OG, the anal original gangster. Anyways, what's the proof on that shine? I know it's 20% alcohol, and I think it's probably only like 40% proof, or 40 proof, not 40% proof, but 40 proof. So it's not all that bad. So, I mean, I'm not going to get drunk off this. It's just, it makes a really great drink. But anyways, so all of that out of the way, we are going to do kind of a shortened stream tonight because I'm lazy as fuck. As you can tell, I'm sitting down, and so we're not going to be doing the Today I Learns or anything like that. Like I said, I had a pretty lazy day today.
He said it's like analogy.
It's like analogy.
Yeah.
And so analog.
Analogy.
And analogy. Oh, okay. I get it now. Analogy. I get it. Anyways, all right. So I'm so sorry that we're not going to have a full stream tonight, but we are still going to do the response video. And that's this guy. All of the Skeptic Mafia members have already been privy to watching this video. And if you want to get that chance too, you can smash that like button right now, or smash the join button, or go to joinskepticmafia.com and you can become part of the Skeptic Mafia and you can get your chance to view the video early. You can also leave a comment, which I will be reading right after this. Which we've got Who's Your Buddy saying, so glad Xander is negative for Rona. He deserves an ice cream or a cake, whatever he likes. Well, I gotta say,
For not getting sick?
For not getting sick. So what Xander got was a really big group hug, because that was the thing that he was missing the most. He hated the fact that he couldn't give us hugs. And so...
because he was kind of quarantined in his room, because once you test, you're presumed positive. So he had to be sequestered in his room and wasn't allowed to come out.
Yeah, so he wasn't he wasn't able to come out, and we couldn't give him hugs or really anything, spend any real time with him or anything like that. So but in any case, yeah, thank you so much there, Who's Your Buddy. I appreciate that. So this is Deflate. Obviously that's not his name. He's a host. I don't recall what his name is on this, but he has this idea that atheism doesn't provide any kind of meaning to anybody, and anybody that creates their own meaning is actually being internally inconsistent with atheism, because obviously atheism means that you're a nihilist. So just to start off with this video tonight, I want to preface by saying that atheism doesn't have the motive or the inclination to give meaning to anything. It's just a singular position on a single question, and that's whether or not you believe that a God exists. If you don't, if you express that non-belief in a deity, then you are atheist. It says nothing else about the universe, meaning to the universe, meaning for yourself, or purpose to the universe or yourself. So Christians and apologists in general, regardless of the religion, that like to impose this on atheism is really doing kind of an equivocation fallacy, because what they're equivocating atheism to is basically religion. Religion has the goal of providing you with meaning and purpose in your life, while atheism just handles what you actually believe about a supernatural deity or deities. We got a couple more super chats here. Quentin Van Booben that says, just dropping by to say hi, currently at work. Don't know if I'll get off in time to catch this live. Remember to stand up and use your voice. That's right, Quentin. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, man. Daniel M. Say hi to Alan? Alan? Hey, Alan. Fuck.
My guess is it's Alan.
Hi, Alan. How you doing?
Totally wrong.
Huh?
We could be totally wrong.
Could be totally wrong.
And by we, I mean me.
Put the pronunciation in the chat so I don't mess it up. There, Daniel M. I appreciate you being here. Say hi to Michael W. Roble, Sirnian, and I saw Dave Lee in there. They're all part of the Skeptic Mafia too. Thank you guys for showing up tonight.
And me.
And of course, KC. She's part.
I was the first member.
I know you were the first member because I paid for it.
You don't have to tell them that.
Let's see. Alex said, "Can you or Jimmy Snow imitate Terry Hall?"
I don't even know who that is. Do you?
I'm not sure who Terry Hall is. So I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I can't even do a good Trump, and really all you got to do is sound stupid.
It's pronounced Alan.
Alan? Mm-hmm. Okay, Alan. Awesome. All right, so let's get on into the video. This guy here is completely sure of himself, and so let's figure out what he's got to say.
I don't know how many times I've come across atheists who say that even though our universe is meaningless, one can still lead a meaningful life. Statements such as these sound nice for sure, but sounding nice is not quite the same thing as making sense.
I would agree. Sounding nice is not the same thing as making sense. Like, for instance, Christianity at the face value sounds nice. If you do bad shit, you can just pray for Jesus to forgive you and you're fine. everything's washed away, or even for transformation purposes in your own personal life. It sounds nice on its surface, but that doesn't mean that it's true. So I would say that you could easily turn this around on yourself there, bud. So maybe you should consider that. Also, yes, you can and people do give their lives meaning. Like they themselves give their life meaning and purpose. Even Christians.
Do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So sorry.
No, you're
I'll
fine.
Just let you talk. It's kind of your show.
Even Christians out there, which this guy is a Christian, they give themselves meaning in their life. They give themselves all the same meaning in life as far as Christianity goes, because the meaning of life, the purpose of life in Christianity, at least as far as we can tell from our daily Bible podcast that we post every Tuesday at around 9:30 a.m., is to pretty much serve and praise God. That's the ultimate or absolute meaning to life for a Christian. At least that's what it seems for the apologist type of Christians, or the type of Christianity that normally puts out videos of this nature. I don't mean to generalize the entire Christian population or the entire demographic of Christians as adhering to this one thing, but for the purposes and the context of this particular video, that is the purpose to life that he's talking about.
And since atheists usually take pride in their alleged commitment to rationality, a fishy statement such as "there is no objective meaning to the universe, but you can still create your own meaning" certainly deserves some scrutinizing. That's exactly what this video is about, and what you'll learn by the end of it is that any atheist talk about creating your own meaning in an otherwise meaningless universe is nothing but a grandiose exercise in self-deception.
So I don't understand how it's self-deception, and this is not the only guy that I've heard this from. I've heard Cameron Bertuzzi of Capturing Christianity express the same thing too, that you're just deluding yourself into thinking that you have a purpose when the universe is meaningless or purposeless. And I would say that just because the universe doesn't have a meaning to it or a purpose behind it, does not intrinsically mean that life that exists within that universe is inherently meaningless or purposeless. The purpose part, I don't really think that there's so much a purpose to life, but I do think that you give yourself purpose in life and you give yourself meaning in life. And like I said, even Christians do that. They choose to take up the meaning in their life as being, praising and worshiping God, doing everything in the name of God, because that's what the Old Testament teaches. If you don't do everything with God first in your mind, then you're going to get fucked up by God. And so you have to understand where he's coming from. He's coming from the position that you can't have your own meaning in life. You have to be given a meaning to life. You have to be given purpose to even live in this universe. And apparently the only way that he can rationalize that is through his religion, through God. But even that is him subjectively giving himself a purpose and meaning in life. You could just as easily become a Muslim and have a Muslim purpose and meaning in life. They may be somewhat similar, but it's still not Christian, right? It's still not the Christian God, technically. But there are plenty of other religions out there that also do that. But I would also say that atheists are not inconsistent or illogical or anything like that, just because we accept the fact that all meaning and purpose to our lives is subjective and is determined by us.
This is Lucas from Deflate, countering the skeptics' objections to Christianity. If you're new here, click that subscribe button to get our upcoming videos. So let's start with a simple observation. Generally speaking, on atheism, the natural world is all there is. Reality is ultimately made up of matter, and everything you see can be broken down into the particles of physics. This, of course, includes you as a human being. According to atheists, you're just a somewhat more complex arrangement of matter and thus only slightly different from a brick stone. Well, okay, unlike a brick stone, you're at least a living organism made up of cells with the ability to reproduce, but don't ever think that you're somehow special. No, just
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not special in the sense that the universe is created for us. We're not special in that all the life here on Earth exists for us or for some magical deity. So we're not special in those ways. Life in general is rare and special throughout the universe. Definitely. So to just generally say that atheists consider life to be not special whatsoever is kind of ridiculous, because atheists wouldn't say that, but also as part of atheism, that's just simply not even considered, because the only thing that atheism considers is whether or not a God exists. But apologists like this like to try to think through what no God existing actually entails, and it entails a materialistic universe. Doesn't necessarily entail a materialistic universe, because the supernatural could exist, just no God like he understands it to exist could exist. So it doesn't necessarily entail materialism, but I would say that most atheists out there are materialists in that they don't believe that the supernatural exists. I said all that shit. So basically he's sitting here and he's trying to suggest that atheism he's trying to suggest that atheism means that there's literally no purpose or meaning to life because we're just inorganic materials. But just because we have accepted the fact that organic materials are just made up of chemicals that are commonly found throughout the universe, does not inherently mean that we can't give ourselves purpose. See, what this apologist is trying to do is he's trying to think out the ramifications of admitting that there's no God, and or accepting that God most likely doesn't exist, or anything of that nature. He's trying to think that out, and what he gets to is a purely materialistic worldview, right? But the problem is that not all atheists out there are materialists. It's very possible for you to be an atheist, but also not be a materialist. Although I would say that most atheists are materialists. But he is going to try to equivocate the idea of materialism to nihilism, because he enforces this idea that atheism has to provide some kind of worldview, and since in his mind it leads to absolute meaningless in the universe, that means that you cannot create your own meaning to life. We got a few super chats that I've been missing. Of course, I fucked up with my mic, but
I think that happened when you hit the keyboard.
Oh, did it?
I think so.
Okay, probably. All right. Well, I'm glad that not all of it was lost. So a few super chats. We got Gently's channel who says 90% of the time a bit of welding spatter on my screen lines up right with your eyes. Most distracting. Ulterior Motif says, hi everyone, sorry I'm late. That's okay, Ulterior. And then Uhan Roderick says, for the new microphone fund at the office, so I'm not watching the chat, but I am listening. Hashtag Brocephus 2020. It's not a bad microphone. It's just...
That's what I told him.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else he's got.
Like the mosquito annoyingly buzzing over your head at night or the mouse roaming your backyard, you're nothing but a collection of randomly mutated genes and biomolecules which natural selection graciously picked in the course of history.
I disagree with the anthropomorphization. I can never say that word right. I disagree with the anthropomorphization of natural selection as being some kind of conscious thing that selects things. It's a natural process that has natural causes to it. Just because we've identified it and give it a name doesn't mean that it has some kind of consciousness to select things. But also, to say that we are nothing but these organic chemicals is really denying a lot of biological facts, like the idea of a central nervous system. True, when you boil it down to the very base of what we are organic materials that were naturally selected over millions of years. But that doesn't really articulate or that doesn't really give us any kind of inclination as to what our central nervous systems can accomplish. Because that's also another thing that you have to consider when you're thinking about the organic life that exists on Earth. Central nervous systems can definitely develop to a point where we can give ourselves purpose and meaning, where we evolve to a point that we care about purpose and meaning. So he's taking an idea and he's extrapolating out from that central core truth, and he's making all of these baseless claims piled on top of it. It's exactly what conspiracy theorists do. That would include creationists, flat earthers, and all of them. Everything that he just said was a baseless claim, other than we are composed of organic materials that have been through the process of natural selection, and we have come to our present state.
And that's because at the bottom layer of reality is just raw matter. Ever since our purposeless universe inexplicably popped into existence with neither cause nor goal. What's more,
sorry to stop so quick again. That's not at all what the scientific theory of the Big Bang is. It was an inflation of the universe. We don't say that it inexplicably came about or happened. There's definitely a cause to it. Where this guy and I disagree is what caused the inflation of the universe. He would say that it was God and that only God could cause the inflation of the universe, while I think that natural processes could have definitely caused the inflation of the universe. Everything that we've experienced up until this point has a natural cause behind it. There's a natural process that explains it. So for the beginning of the universe, the inflation of the universe, to have some kind of special supernatural event that suspended the natural order of reality in order for it to happen just is not congruent with what we see in nature now. So because we have not proven any kind of suspension of the natural order of reality, then it's highly unlikely that a suspension of the natural order of reality happened at one point in the past and has never happened again.
that universe is slowly but steadily running out of energy until it will die the so-called heat death, which will mean that at some time in the future neither movement nor life will be possible anymore, as the universe will return to the randomness, nothingness, and meaninglessness from which it emerged in the first place. So far, so good.
Well, no, that's not what the heat death of the universe is. The heat death of the universe is moving to maximum entropy, right? And so that's pretty much an equilibrium state, right? That's what it's moving to. The heat death of the universe doesn't mean that the universe just dissipates and disappears and returns to the quote-unquote nothingness that you think was at the beginning of the universe. Which the nothingness is totally different when I say it and versus when he says it. Because when he says it, he means absolutely nothing. But scientifically, that doesn't exist. The nothing that we think of still has an electrical charge in it, still has that energy, right? So the two different nothings that we're discussing here are completely not the same thing. But he thinks that the heat death of the universe means that the universe just sort of disappears, as if God were to put a cross dissolve on the universe with the rest of the fabric of reality as he's editing together this timeline of reality, I guess. And that's just simply not how it works. It moves to a state of maximum entropy, which means that the heat death is literally that, just heat death. That means that there's no more heat in the universe. It goes to the absolute zero, which does not mean that there's no matter anywhere. That just means that it's moved to this maximum state of disorder. So I don't understand why he thinks that a maximum state of disorder is the exact same thing as a maximum state of order, which is when you go back in time, that's how everything started out or whatever. So it's really weird.
I'm fully with the atheist hypothesis. But now comes the not so subtle atheist sleight of hand. Because instead of actually being consistent and affirming that the meaninglessness of the universe necessarily implies the meaninglessness of his or her own existence, the atheist now simply turns around and claims that you can nevertheless create your own subjective meaning. You may rally, for example, for some cause of social justice, devote yourself to animal rights, donate to the Richard Dawkins Foundation, or simply enjoy yourself and eat ice cream while sunbathing at the beach.
What is wrong with this guy?
I don't know, honey. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him.
I mean, he creates his own subjective meaning too.
He does. And I mean,
and ice cream at the beach is fucking delicious. What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the ice cream at the beach. I don't see what the issue is with atheists creating their own meaning and purpose in life. Those particular things, like, I don't think that it's. I would highly disagree with anybody that says my purpose in life is to eat ice cream on the fucking beach. Like, there's nothing wrong with it inherently. I just disagree with that purpose or meaning in life. So, I mean, all of those things, there's nothing wrong with devoting yourself to those things. And I don't understand how that's inconsistent with the atheist position. He would say worldview, but atheism isn't a worldview.
But he also acts like we can only donate to animal rights or the Richard Dawkins Foundation. I mean,
I do hate how Richard Dawkins always gets brought up, like, out of these apologists. It's like he's their favorite he's their favorite thing to go to all the time. And I mean, he doesn't even represent most atheists out there, I wouldn't say. But it's pretty much just that the apologists have heard a few popular names, and so they immediately go to those names in order to do it.
Well, yeah, but I guess my point is that atheists can also do charity work in conjunction with religious organizations.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
The peanut butter thing that we did for the Haitian orphans, that was through a religious organization. And, my parents used to run that, the dinner thing that they would provide dinner once a week to homeless people.
Yeah.
And that was through a Catholic church. And, we've donated money to that. So, like, I guess I don't understand why they think that atheists can't do things in coordination with religious people. We can work together to do good shit for our communities.
Well, yeah, but I'm fairly certain that what he's getting at is the whole idea behind stealing from God that Frank Turek has out. Basically, having those kind of good intentions or those purposes or meanings is really stealing from a religious worldview.
That's stupid.
It is. It is very stupid.
It didn't fucking belong to you.
Well, I agree. I think this guy, though, was really only giving a few examples of different things that you could do, like things that you could devote yourself to. So hopefully he gets to like what he means by an objective or absolute meaning to life.
I mean, I don't know, but Richard Dawkins ain't it for me.
Whatever you pick, it will provide you with an island of meaning in the vast ocean of our universe's meaninglessness. As I said in the beginning, while this may sound beautiful, it's not only irrationally inconsistent to the highest degree, but also a ridiculous form of self-deception. Because if the material universe is all there is, the notion that you can actually create meaning, which is of course an immaterial concept, makes as much sense as to think that you can throw a bucket into a dried up well to pull water from it.
Well, okay, so basically what he's trying to explain here is that because we consider the universe to not have a meaning or purpose behind it, like an ultimate absolute meaning or purpose behind it, it's irrational for us to then create an immaterial meaning or purpose. Apparently, immaterial things cannot exist in a materialistic sort of world where you don't accept that the supernatural exists. Now, thoughts are not fucking supernatural. Okay? So I don't know where you're getting this concept that like the vast category of immaterial things are all supernatural things. There's very, very different things because like thoughts, feelings, emotions, and all of that, they are immaterial unless, you know, it's sadness and you can actually hold that bucket of ice cream in your hand. They're immaterial, but just because they're immaterial does not mean that they're supernatural. Supernatural means that it's above nature. If you can create an immaterial thing within the natural material world, then it can still exist in there. What he's trying to do is apply a generalization fallacy on the idea that all atheists are materialists and that a materialist worldview means that no immaterial things can exist, when that's simply not what we experience. And just because we have thoughts, feelings, and emotions does not necessarily or inherently mean that the supernatural exists. You have not connected those things.
In addition, even if you could magically create meaning in a materialistic and objectively meaningless universe, this subjectively created meaning of yours would be entirely pointless. For if ultimately nothing matters, then whatever you contrive to be your purpose won't matter either at the end of the day.
I mean, I really don't think that anybody says that, you know, our created meanings or anything in this life doesn't matter. This is where he equivocates atheism with nihilism, because apparently to him, unless the entire universe has a meaning, then you yourself can't have a meaning, and therefore everything's meaningless. You know, there's no point in doing anything. He basically goes to the point of saying that atheism is nihilism, that they are the exact same things, but they're not. I noticed in the comments of his particular video, he even says that atheism is nihilism if you're going to be consistent with atheism. But the problem is that just because you're not convinced that a God exists does not inherently mean that you are a nihilist or that you find no meaning in anything that you do. You can find tons of meaning in everything that you do. Everything that you do means something to your surrounding community, to the society that you exist in, to the world that you're a part of. So, I mean, it definitely has meaning to it. There are people out there that are nihilistic, and I'm not trying to shit on them whatsoever. If you don't find that there's any kind of meaning to anything you do, that's up to you. That's totally your prerogative. As long as you're not hurting other people, I think it's totally fine to be a nihilist. I disagree with you because I find a lot of meaning in everything that I do. I constantly get messages from people talking about how I've positively impacted their life with the content that I make and the other social media posts that I put out. I've been told that I make people not feel so alone in the highly religious areas that they're in. So I know that what I'm doing has meaning. The meaning that I've chosen for my life has meaning for other people. So it definitely is not just devoid of any purpose or anything like that. But he would say that I'm being inconsistent. And that would just be him equivocating atheism with nihilism and claiming that I'm not holding to an atheistic worldview.
Let me illustrate this. Imagine we lived in a world in which healthy food does not exist, but everything we take in would cause us to become sick. Now, in such a world, you are of course free to talk about creating for yourself a healthy diet. But that would not change the fact that whatever so-called diet you pick, it will make you sick, just like any other food you could take in. In the same way, to say that the universe is ultimately meaningless, but that you can still pick some cute little diet of meaning for yourself is nothing short of delusional.
I would disagree that it's not delusional. Also, your analogy sucks ass.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because atheism is not like all of the food in the world, or materialism isn't like all of the food in the world. And then you're trying to pick out a healthy diet that's not going to make you vomit, but of course you always vomit because it's shitty ass food. Obviously, atheism is only one answer to one question, and that's whether or not you believe that a God exists, right? So it's more or less like choosing one particular type of, broccoli that makes you vomit. It's like, oh, well, then I can just choose a different fucking broccoli that doesn't make me fucking vomit. Okay, it's not that all the food is bad. It's just that one broccoli grower doesn't know how to grow fucking broccoli.
That was weird too.
Was it weird?
Yeah.
Was it as bad as his?
I don't know, maybe. Probably not. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say no.
Okay. It still comes down to the fact that it's not inconsistent to find meaning in your life when you don't believe that a God exists.
By the way, you don't have to take my word for it. Check out Friedrich Nietzsche or Jean-Paul Sartre, who are two of history's most important atheist philosophers. Nietzsche said that once you do away with God, the world will basically turn into something like an abandoned, dark, haunted marketplace where no one wants to be, as it's been completely drained of meaning. He truly lived what he preached, as he spent the last years of his life in a madhouse. Similarly, Sartre, in his play No Exit, depicted reality without God, ironically enough, as hell, and affirmed that life was absurd, but that we should just get on with it somehow, I guess.
So, yeah, those two were nihilists. So you're comparing nihilism to, and you're saying that that's representative of atheism. And that's not at all true. Were those people also atheists? I don't know, probably. I really don't think that you understand the sentiments that they were really trying to get across. I'm not going to try to explain the complex philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche or the other guy, but the fact is that you're equivocating atheism to nihilism, and that's not actually like a fair equivalence or equivocation. You're talking about two different things as if they were the same thing. That's how it's a fallacy. Also, I really hate it when they quote people. Like, I really don't care what kind of quotes you can pull out of fucking God's ass. It doesn't really matter what somebody else says or anything like that. I can still disagree with them about their conclusions on something. So just because you can pull out a quote or two does not mean that you are correct about whatever topic you're arguing for.
More recently, another atheist philosopher, Loyal Rue, confessed that even though all of reality is utterly meaningless, we cannot actually live this way, as this would lead to something of an existential collapse. And so he blatantly suggested that we should just deceive ourselves and propagate what he called the noble lie that meaning exists even though it really doesn't.
So this kind of gets into, the thing I was talking about with capturing Christianity and saying that you're really just lying to yourself about your purpose or your meaning. And the only thing that I can really surmise about this particular thing is that because they don't have somebody else that tells them what their meaning or purpose in life is, that means that you're lying to yourself, apparently. And I really, I really don't understand that. Because it's not me lying to myself. It's just me accepting that I'm dictating what the purpose and meaning of my life is. I don't have somebody else, dictating that. I don't know why I have to have somebody else dictate that. Apparently Loyal Rue that he just mentioned, he focuses on naturalistic theories and is a proponent of religious naturalism and environmentalism. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he meant by what he said, but I still don't consider it a lie to myself to give myself meaning. And I think to represent all atheists as being sort of having to conform to what one particular atheist says in the past, which I don't even know. I don't think that he's atheist. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if religious naturalism is really atheism or something. Combines a naturalist worldview with ideals, perceptions, traditions, and values that have been traditionally associated with many religions or religious institutions. So he's definitely not a Christian. So I guess he would consider him to be an atheist. But still, regardless, I don't consider it a lie to myself.
So, as I said in the beginning, when atheists talk about creating meaning, they are simply deluding themselves. It's probably only a minority who, like Dr. Rue, actually admit that meaning can only be affirmed by an act of straightforward self-deception. But this...
Well, I mean, sure, there probably are some atheists out there that would think of it as self-deception to give yourself meaning. But that I don't understand how that particular fact really weighs in on whether or not it actually is self-deception. I don't think that that's what he's necessarily arguing for here. He's just admitting that, oh, well, most atheists aren't nihilists. Okay, yeah, fuck yeah, I agree. Most atheists are not fucking nihilists.
It doesn't change the fact that self-delusion is exactly what's going on here. Having said all this, there is one last thing which needs to be mentioned here, which further adds insult to injury. Think about this. If objective meaning doesn't exist, how come the atheist comes to the meaningful conclusion that this is so? See, the sentence, "there is no objective meaning to the universe," is itself a statement that claims to carry objective meaning, and yet the proposition is that the universe is devoid of such meaning.
I think it's really hilarious that he's talking about self-delusion.
Yeah, it is kind of hilarious that he's talking about self-delusion.
He's not very self-aware, is he?
He does not seem to be self-aware, no. But, I mean, I don't think that... Which... I need to go back and listen to what he said.
Is so. See, the sentence, "there is no objective meaning to the universe," is itself a statement that claims to carry objective meaning, and yet the proposition is that the universe is devoid of such meaning.
So, like there's a big difference here. What he's literally talking about is absolute meaning to the universe, right? Not objective meaning, because objective meaning would just be a meaning outside of yourself. So like you could have you could be objectively wrong about having a purpose or meaning to life, as murdering a lot of people. I think that would be objectively wrong, being that as a society, we can most of us can agree that would be like a bad or wrong thing. What he's literally talking about, though, is absolute meaning, that devoid of all human influence or anything like that. It is absolutely like the meaning to the universe and everything like that. But he's still operating under the assumption that just because there's no absolute meaning or purpose to the universe, that inherently means that there's no way that we can have any kind of meaning or purpose, like on our micro, on the size of the universe scale, on the micro sense.
Which means that the atheist's denial of objective meaning is nothing but a self-contradiction and therefore complete nonsense.
You know what's fucking complete nonsense? I find the Bible to be complete nonsense, because there's so many contradictory things in the Bible that it literally makes no sense to me. Like, it makes no sense to me why people would read the Old Testament and not come away thinking, wow, that God guy's an asshole. I wouldn't want to worship him. Like, I really don't understand how people can't walk away from the Old Testament and think God's an asshole. But I mean, atheists are just simply not being inconsistent, because while we affirm that there's no ultimate or absolute purpose or meaning to life, that does not have any connection to our own subjective personal meanings, our own personal purpose and meaning that we give ourselves. Because we have a complex enough central nervous system to where we can come up with immaterial things that only exist in our thoughts. And other organisms can do that too. If you have a complex enough central nervous system, they can have immaterial things as well. Just because the universe is ultimately material, which this is coming from a more materialist view. And again, I have to highly emphasize that just because you're an atheist does not mean that you're a materialist, right? But just because we affirm that material things exist and we have no evidence of the supernatural does not mean that immaterial things can't exist in this universe. Also, all immaterial things are not considered supernatural things. So it just kind of seems like you're equivocating and doing these equivalence fallacies all over this video.
Christianity, on the other hand, can coherently affirm meaning, as it postulates a divine mind who has infused the entire universe as well as human existence with meaning and value.
How exactly does he do that? Oh, just by stating it in a book? I mean, I've got a book over here where I could write down your purpose and meaning in life if you want me to. Honestly, I think that it's rather sad if you have to look to somebody outside of yourself to dictate your own purpose and meaning in life. I think that you should be the one to dictate your purpose and your meaning. I feel like you're giving up a portion of your self-control, like your ability to govern yourself. You're giving up a portion of your freedom to allow some dictator God to tell you what your purpose and meaning is. I think that even Christians make their own purpose and meaning in life. Now, regardless of whether or not you get that from a book, you're still the ones that are dictating it. You're the ones that are giving up freely the freedom to have your own meaning and purpose in life, and allowing somebody else, not God, somebody 1900 or so years ago, dictate your purpose in life. And I really find that to be illogical and ridiculous.
This is why it's not only the more rational option than atheism, but also the one that is more practically relevant and actually livable. Now,
I feel like both positions are livable and practical to have, because while I disagree with the choice to, allow God to dictate your meaning and purpose in life, that doesn't inherently mean that it's wrong, and it also doesn't mean that you can't live in a practical way like that. So, yeah. He's going to the extreme end of this and saying, well, atheists lying to themselves is not practical, reasonable, or logical. When he's got a lot of baseless assumptions built upon this that are assumed because he thinks that atheism is nihilism. And every single part of his rationalization for this is just simply wrong.
does any of what I said prove that atheism is false and that God exists? No. Or does it suggest that all atheists are miserable? No. What it does show, however, is that atheists who hold onto their self-contradictory notion of meaning are rather like castaways who hope to be rescued by catching a deflated life belt. Here's the thing.
I don't get that analogy either. How are atheists like people on a deserted island that are trying to catch a deflated life vest or something like that? I guess because you think that atheism can't provide meaning, and so therefore, it's like that analogy when you're assuming that the purpose of atheism is to give the universe or yourself meaning. And this comes all the way back around to the fact that he has to place atheism on the same level as his religion, being that both of them are worldviews that have the purpose or have the goal of providing you with a purpose or meaning. And that's simply not what atheism is. It's just a non-belief in a god or gods. That's it.
Talk about meaning all the time. And if you're watching this video, you're likely to care about meaning yourself. Now, this intuition of ours that our lives are actually meaningful is fully expected and no surprise on the assumption that Christianity is true. However, if we assume atheism to be true, the very fact that we talk about meaning cannot be explained, but it can only be explained away.
Wait, if atheism is true, how is it that we can't explain our conceptualization of meaning and purpose? Like, I'm guessing the reason why he thinks this is because he considers all atheist naturalists, or not naturalists, but materialists and nihilists at the same time. And so therefore it's ridiculous or illogical to even conceive immaterial things if God or the supernatural doesn't exist. And it's just so telling for him to present his idea this way, because it's so plainly obvious that he is completely wrong about what atheism is at its core. So I don't understand how you can come to a correct conclusion, or at least a non-fucked up conclusion, by starting off from a really horrible position of that's baseless. It's not based on facts. It's not based on evidence. It's just a baseless ad hoc assertion that atheism is nihilism and materialism. And because materialism means that only physical objects, or well, that's not what it means. Materialism means that physical objects exist in this universe and that the supernatural or anything above this reality doesn't exist. Just because something is immaterial inside of our material universe does not mean that it's supernatural. It has to exist above it. So unless our thoughts exist in the supernatural realm, then I don't understand how he can come to the conclusion that atheists cannot even begin to discuss immaterial things.
But hey, then again, rational explanations have never been a strength of atheists in the first place, so I guess there's really no surprise to that. Thanks for watching, and leave your comments in the comment section below.
All right, so that's the end of the video. I definitely agree. You guys should go down below. Leave me your thoughts on his video down there. Let me switch back over to the main camera here. So that's going to be it for the video tonight. If you guys will, like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about his proposition that atheism is illogical and meaningless. And if you consider a meaning to life, or you feel like you have a purpose or a meaning to life, you must be lying to yourself about it, because it's inconsistent and illogical to be an atheist and to think that you have meaning. So let me know what you think down below. I'd really love to hear it. We're about to go into the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you want to be a part of the Skeptic Mafia, you just got to smash that join link or go to joinskepticmafia.com, and you'll be able to leave your comments on the videos before we have our live stream. And like I said, that's what we're about to go into now. If you will, before you head out, smash that like button and share the video if you would like to get more people here on a Friday night. And I guess I'll talk to you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice. Bye, heathens. But don't go, because we're about to get into the Skeptic Mafia comments. The Skeptic Mafia always has a lot of ideas and thoughts on the stuff that we cover. And I have refreshed it so that everybody's comments are going to show up. There we go. We got Alex Bernowski. So Alex says, his diet analogy is really bad, since eating will ultimately kill us. Each time we metabolize anything, we experience oxidative stress, which kills cells, and while we can replenish them, the replenishing process involves cell division, the kind only stimulated by the death of cells, which shortens our DNA and accumulates mutations, leading to aging and a number of other things. The most successful animals, certain groups of moths and flies, devote one life stage to eating, and then the rest of their lives they don't feed and focus on reproduction. It's what tent caterpillars, gypsy moths, and Luna moths do. All diets are bad. Some just kill you more quickly. I think that's an astute observation there, Alex. But also in his analogy, I'm wondering, like, how would life have arisen just in general if like all food was bad? Like, I don't know. The analogy itself just doesn't even fucking make sense when you think about the practicality of it. So I don't know. I get that he was just using an analogy to prove a point, but still, my mind wanders to those places. Vanta Blue, this yellow ping pong ball, I can't get over how he moves as he talks, brings up self-delusion to create meaning for oneself, and can't see the possibility that religious beliefs are the self-delusions he speaks of. He is not very self-aware. Jonathan Nickel. It is so sad when theists assert that life has no meaning without God. He admitted that atheists give their own lives meaning, but tried to explain this away as self-deception. The true self-deception is that theists feel the need to invent, or at the very least claim, the evidence of a God in order to offer an externally imposed meaning on their own lives. Hey, that's exactly what I said there, Jonathan. I'm glad we're on the same page here. This tells me that many of them are incapable of appreciating life for its own sake. Worse yet, some would dismiss or disregard their own lives in order to wait for a better life afterwards, which they cannot demonstrate. That's a really good thing to point out there. I feel like the promise of an afterlife really does make this life somewhat meaningless. As far as like, you know, I guess the value of this life, because if you have an infinitely short amount of time in this life compared to the infinitely large amount of time in the afterlife, it kind of seems to devalue it. I'm not saying that Christians don't value their lives or anything like that. I think that they do. I'm just saying the promise of an afterlife, you know, once you actually consider the ramifications of it, kind of makes this life somewhat meaningless. I know that when I realized that I didn't believe in a God or an afterlife, it made this life so much more incredibly important, because I only have one life to live. And, you know, honestly, I don't understand it when creationists or apologists in general claim that atheism means that you have just no meaning to your life or no purpose or no value to your life, because I find immense purpose, meaning, and value to my life after I became an atheist, that, you know, because I wasn't waiting for this afterlife to come. We do indeed give our own lives meaning. It may well be that 1,000 years from now, history might have forgotten us. Our existent lives, like our current meal or the pint of beer we might be holding, have meaning for us in the here and now. Ultimately, though, the only meaning our lives will ever have is whatever value our own lives hold for those around us. And I think that that's really a poetic thing. I think that that's an awesome thing. And that's something that we need to keep in mind right there, is that, you know, we have meaning in our lives, but also, you know, we affect those around us. And because of that fact, our lives could inherently have meaning, I think. Sean J. Natural selection didn't pick anything. I've seen this in so many different videos that I think we need to point this out when we see it. This boils down to Christians unable to conceptualize a process without agency. Evolution through natural selection has no agency. However, none of that has anything to do with atheists. This is just science. I agree. I pointed that out in a less in a not very good way. I think that you did a lot better job of pointing that out. But yeah, natural selection does not have any kind of agency to it. Drew's book reviews. I won't be making it to the stream tonight as I am working. Well, I will be late anyway, hope to at least catch the end. But I will be sure to catch this on the replay eventually, lol. Anyway, I hope all you heathens are having a great day. I just wanted to say, just based off the title, that I am fine with having no meaning in life, because I really don't see why meaning is even necessary. I mean, honestly, can anyone explain why meaning and purpose is so fundamentally necessary to begin with? I think that's a really good point. I don't think that it's fundamentally necessary to begin with. I don't think people need a meaning or purpose in their life. But I also think that atheists can choose to have meaning and purpose in their life if they want to. I don't see anything wrong with that. And not to suggest that you were trying to say that, Drew, but I'm just saying that, yeah. Why can't we just enjoy life for what it is without trying to attribute some kind of meaning or purpose to it? Just live your life and enjoy it. I think that that's a really great philosophy there. Anyway, that's all for me. Time to get back to work and maybe enjoy a good book later tonight. Hey, definitely do that. Hey, if you guys like book reviews, go and check out Drew's book reviews. He does a lot of scientific, sci-fi, not scientific, but sci-fi book reviews. And he's always telling me about them, and they're always awesome to hear about. Jane Pusecker. This guy did a good job at the beginning explaining the basics of the universe and what most intelligent people know and understand about the universe. However, he totally disregards the things that can add meaning to a person's life without Christianity. You don't have to be part of the Christian faith to have meaning and value to a person's life. There are over 5,000 religions in the world, including tribal religions and solitary spiritual paths that people believe gives that someone a sense of spiritual purpose to a person's life. While some atheists are materialists, it would be safe to say that they're probably more scientific atheists. At the ones that are materialist atheists, which means if you can touch it, feel it, or look under a microscope, then it exists. However, this is not all atheists and probably don't speak for the majority or minority, because atheists for vastly different reasons. We as humans are social creatures, and we need somewhere to feel like we belong. This guy really needs to take sociology class and human development class so he has better understanding of human mind and behavior. I highly suggest he gets more educated before he makes any more videos. And to all the viewers, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, where you get really cool emojis and you get a chance to join the Skeptic Mafia, where you get monthly hangouts and many perks, including Bro Cephas. And don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Thank you so much for your comment there, Jane. I really appreciate your comments in particular, because I know that you're not an atheist. You're a very religious person, and I don't think that he got I think he got as good as a creationist, which is kind of what he seemed to be like. A creationist or an apologist goes. I think that he got basics of the beginning of the universe right, as far as like apologist goes, but he still had his own issues with it. But regardless of that, I appreciate your thoughts on this matter.
We got a new member.
Oh, we got a new member. Shit, who? Pasty Cake. Atheist ain't saying we gonna be immortal. That's right, Pasty Cake. Thank you so much for becoming part of the Skeptic Mafia. You are awesome. All right. Trickster. Hello, GE and KC and everybody else. As usual, I can only be with you in spirit. This guy starts out by saying that a commitment to rationality is bad, I think. Atheists usually don't like to use the word create when they talk about their lives having meaning, as this is one of the words that creationists like to jump as a gotcha word. You must believe because you said create. I don't hear a lot of atheists saying how special we are in the grand scheme of things. Seems to me that is more of a Christian thing to say. He shows a montage of all the things atheists do, and surprise, surprise, they are the things that most people do. As a matter of fact, I don't think you would be able to tell someone is an atheist unless they had a reason to tell this for themselves. Food analogy and name dropping were both useless. I could not agree fucking more. They're Trickster. If we couldn't find food that didn't make us sick, then we would go extinct before we had a chance to reproduce. What is the meaning he is trying to get to? Oh, well, on to the next thing. Most atheists I know never say that life has no meaning. They just simply say they don't need a god or gods to find their meaning in life. I agree. Move along now. Nothing else to see here. Like, subscribe, and share if you want to be the cool kid on the block and have a few dollars burning a hole in your pocket. Join the Skeptic Mafia. You get a cool badge next to your name in the chat. That changes as your time with us continues. You get to see the Friday video early and make a comment that GE will read live on air. You'll meet some new and interesting people to chat live with. This is the only place that you can play with GE's 15-foot whale penis emoji.
Yeah, emoji.
The emoji is definitely what we're talking about. Michelle Foster. All I heard was that Charlie Brown adult speaking sound. That being said, insert shilling here. Hey, if you guys don't know, we do have a Discord channel or server, whatever, for the Skeptic Mafia, but also we have monthly hangouts, which of course we're doing the June hangout in July, but let's not really discuss that.
We're just not going to talk about it.
Yeah. Cadence. I just watched a flat earth debunk video before watching this one. Honestly, the only difference in the argument for flat earth versus globe earth and this guy's argument for Christianity versus atheism is the articulation of his words. Yeah, I have to say that the Christian apologists definitely articulate their thoughts a lot better than all flat earthers. Chrismer and Dave. Materialism is not atheism and vice versa. Also, nihilism is not atheism. He really seems to be conflating the two. I derive my meaning from my Epicureanism, a philosophy first posited by Epicurus. The really short version is, the meaning of life is achieving atraxia, extracting as much pleasure as possible from life while limiting pain and suffering. Know what brings me pleasure? Seeing you smile at my ASCII, so here it goes. No. Just no. Stop conflating different philosophies, dude, because that ain't chill. But you know what is chill? Hitting that like button as well as subscribing. And if you really want to show John some good old-fashioned Southern loving, go ahead and join that Skeptic Mafia. If you join, you get to see videos early and comment on them, and he'll read out whatever you say, like Star Trek may be better than Star Wars, but Doctor Who is even better. Oh, crap. I thought there was more. But Firefly beats them all out, even though it's only got like 10 or 12 episodes.
And a movie.
And a movie. That's right. Who's your buddy? Everybody, hide your scarecrows. This guy's hunting straw man. Of course, he's not doing a very good job of knocking them down, though. Since we're just being silly, why is it that his God can sit around watching billions of people masturbate every day, but couldn't find one guy in the garden after he ate some fruit? How blind must this God be if he loses half of the world's population that easy? I think he's just a pervert. I mean, he never lost Adam when he was naked. He just like he's like a specialized T-Rex. His eyesight is based on genital movements. Thank you, who's your buddy? Jukane 726. I don't think you understand the difference between how something is defined from how someone feels about something. Materialism is not atheism, though. Randomness is not nothing. It's something. I agree. Thank you, Jukane. Then we got Quentin Van Boeven. I'm going to be honest, I couldn't follow what he was saying. Seems like it was a gish gallop, though. I give this video a fail whale, which we have a fail whale in the emojis if you're part of the Skeptic Mafia right now. If you don't want to earn a fail whale, go down below and hit that like, share, and subscribe button so our AI overlords helps promote GE. If you're able to also consider joining the Skeptic Mafia to get some sweet-ass perks, like cool-ass emojis, a podcast, most every Tuesday, a monthly hangout, the ability to write dumbass comments like this and get them read on a stream, a Discord channel, and like one other thing I think, but I just can't think of right now. Anyway, that's my time. Trying to keep this short. Hope to be able to catch the stream live. And one last thing, remember, heathen, stand up and use your voice. Definitely stand up and use your voice. Now, true, we didn't have a Skeptic Mafia podcast this past week, but that was due to conflicts with potential COVID-19 shit. So most of the time we have a special Skeptic Mafia podcast every Tuesday as well. All right. As a thinking, talking, and walking hairless ape, yes, I can give my own life meaning. It very well may be self-deception, but it's reality. It's all I have to work with, just like he does, except he adds onto that reality. Funny how he jumped straight to Christianity being a better explanation. I could easily come up with my own crazy-ass explanation about everything. Do I like the fact that as far as we know this is it? Hell no, I don't. I hate it, but it's the reality I have to live in. I give my life meaning, period. And right now my meaning is to inform this irrational gentleman he is a condescending douche. I agree that it could very well be possible that we're all just lying to ourselves about the meaning. I didn't mean to speak so pointedly on it earlier. I just don't consider it personally to be a lie. But I mean, ultimately, I don't know. But if I'm lying to myself, then he's lying to himself too. So I really don't understand the benefit of claiming that one person is lying to themselves while you yourself are, again, lying to yourself by your own criteria. Uhan Roderick. Y'all know the drill. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe, join the coolest club ever, the Skeptic Mafia. Check out the Daily Bible Podcast on the go via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. More info at verygoodpodcast.com, Daily Bible. Go on ahead, hit up that link. Huh?
Yes, verygoodpodcast.com.
Daily Bible.
Yep.
Have
there
an awesome night.
Podcasts there.
Huh?
There are other podcasts.
Oh,
there.
yes, there are a lot of podcasts there. Like there's the R and Ra's archive is there, as well as a bunch of other things. So definitely go over there, check them out. It's a really good podcast hosting platform. Gary White, that's fine with us on this moron doesn't have this moron doesn't have any proof or evidence of atheism. I guess against atheism is what you meant. Yeah, true. I really didn't find any of his arguments all that convincing nor substantial enough to actually be considered like evidence against. I noticed that there's somebody in the chat that's pretty lively tonight, so I appreciate the liveliness.
He is special in the biblical sense.
In the biblical sense. Oh man, let's see. Josiah Hansen says halfway through the voyage of the Beagle and Snoopy still hasn't shown up. It's cool though. Today I learned fireflies turn the butts off. On is default. Oh, that's interesting. Today I learned. But anyways, so yeah, that's gonna be it for the live stream tonight. I've got my Dadacorn shirt on because I'm an awesome dad like that.
A lot of it is you can't see it.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's all different colors and they're all very similar to green, so that it looks like I've got various holes in my chest. But I really do appreciate everybody being here tonight, watching, especially everybody that's done a super chat. All of you guys are awesome. All the Skeptic Mafia, you guys are awesome. We got the Jolly Mercenary who says hi. Hey there, Jolly Mercenary. If you guys have a couple of questions, I can answer those really quick. Christopher Dave loves my shirt. Oh yes, I love it too. This is one of my favorite ones. All of my dad shirts are pretty awesome. I got one for Christmas from I believe it was both you and Xander. That was Father.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Xander thought that it said fat whore.
What? No, he didn't.
Yes, that's what he told me. He was like, I thought that was fat H word, and I'm like, wait, fat H word.
He picked it out. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that.
Oh,
I thought he picked it out because it was like superhero shit.
Well, no, I think that he eventually got it like before picking it out, but I think that what he said was at first he thought that it said fat whore.
Oh my God. You know it's going to be funny when he figures out that that's not how you spell whore. We'll teach him that in a few years.
Yeah. We got Tart who sent a super chat saying, "What's up, man? Hey there, Tart. How you doing?" I don't know if you're are you a Christian channel? It kind of looks like you got a Christian cross there. Regardless, though, I don't care. And then Pasty Cake says, "I always wanted to ask a Christian, if you do go to heaven, wouldn't God not serve a purpose? Wouldn't God not serve a purpose to you anymore?" Well, interesting that you bring that up, because by default, according to biblical theology, is that when you go to heaven, your only purpose is pretty much the same purpose as here on earth. You're just praising and worshiping God for eternity. And ideally, that's what you're supposed to do now, like on earth, but it's kind of like a pre-thing to see if you're good enough to get into heaven or something. I'm not exactly sure.
Tyler in the chat said, God would serve the purpose to be worshipped and love us. Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
God would serve the purpose to be worshipped and love us.
Yeah, I don't know. Tart is the Atheist Roundtable.
Oh, the Atheist Roundtable. Is that David? God Works Out.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I was trying to think of your channel. God Works Out.
Oz and Jesus Mike.
Huh?
The Atheist Oz and Jesus Mike.
Yeah.
That's who the Atheist Roundtable is. Oz and Jesus.
Oh,
Mike.
okay. Oz and Jesus Mike. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. No. Atheist Roundtable. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I got you guys. Yeah. Sorry. There was another Atheist Roundtable. You remember us doing that?
I do.
Right?
Yeah, I do remember. That was you and Dieter and Dieter Lucum and God Works Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Anyways, awesome to see you here, there, Oz and Jesus Mike. Y'all go and subscribe to Tart. I know that they asked me recently over TikTok to be on their show, and I think I'm gonna be on their show kind of soon. So definitely go and check them out. They're pretty awesome guys. But anyways, is the hangout tomorrow or Sunday? Quentin, Quentin hopes for Sunday. I was planning on doing it tomorrow afternoon sometime.
Sunday we do our podcasts.
Yeah, Sunday we normally do our podcast, and I've got to get like videos recorded and everything like that, which I might be able to do tomorrow morning. I'm not sure, but Michelle Foster says, but I'd have no autonomy other than just to sit there and kiss some narcissistic deity's ass. That assumes that you'd be kissing his ass. I mean,
we know what you mean. We all know what you mean.
I'm not doing anything tomorrow, so I should be there. Okay. Well, sorry, Quentin, if the time doesn't work out for you. I'm pretty flexible tomorrow afternoon, so damn. Well, maybe I'll reschedule my break at work within the hangout.
Maybe he'll schedule his break when the hangout.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So right now the time frame is about is probably 3 p.m. Central. So I don't know what that means for you. I really should. I'm going to try to get better at scheduling the hangouts, trying to get feedback on everybody. But ultimately, I know that I probably won't be able to accommodate every single person like every month. So I'll try to work with you a little bit on that there, Quentin. Yeah, I was responding to Tyler. Oh.
and P. Bothaloo or whatever apparently wants you to say his name.
P. Bothaloo.
I don't know if that's how you say it. I assume.
Bothaloo. I don't know how to pronounce your name. P. Bothaloo. Everybody likes.
Just call him P-Bot.
P-Bot.
Yep. That works. Sorry, we're just gonna. That's your name now.
Okay. Let's see. Jane Pusecker says, do you think deism would seem to be more rational approach to God? I mean, I do. I mean, I really don't have a good argument against like a more deistic God. You know, just a God that exists that we can't detect or anything like that. I really don't think that we can, know for sure whether or not that God exists or not. So, yeah.
Teresa, I was just thinking about her because I saw something. Was she on Twitter? Teresa's here.
Yeah. Apparently she sent 2 super chats.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Hello, strangers. GE, I just sent you some more giggles on Twitter. Oh.
I was thinking, I was like, she's not been around lately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people got shit to do. Let's see. Hey, Godless, check out what's on after there's something about Mary. The 700 Club. The 700 Club's on after there's something about Mary. You know that movie where the guy comes in his hand and he doesn't know it, and no, it comes on his ear. Or wait, what does he do? I don't know.
Anyway,
Casey's like, let's move past this. How long do you think the 700 Club's going to go on? Because it cannot go on like I get that Robert Patton, what is his name? Patton.
Pattinson, the one that's going to be Batman?
Robert Pattinson. No.
Oh.
Who's the 700 Club guy?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
He's the old crotchety guy that's run on nuclear fusion.
Oh, the one that's been dead for like 900 years and just nobody knows it.
Yeah, like his battery has to go out.
Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson. I was getting his fucking name twisted around. Pat Robertson. Like, exactly when is that crotchety fuck's battery gonna run out? You know that he's going to be gone, like, soon.
Just keep replacing it.
They'll just replace it. What if they run out of the technology because he's like some kind of life form that's not of this earth?
I mean, I don't know. They're figuring out ways.
I
think that eventually he'll just be like one of Madame Tussauds wax things, but animated.
Is he not already?
No, not yet. But once they run out of the technology that keeps whatever he's got going on running, then that's what they'll do.
Okay.
Nightmare Machine says that Pat won't die because neither God nor Satan want him.
That's so incredibly true, which oh shit. My Chrome is freaking out right now. Oh, wait, here we go. Maybe. I don't know. It's not shit in the bed anymore. It's also not... Oh, there we go. It's broadcasting now. Maybe. I don't know. If you guys can see me, I hope you guys have an awesome night. Don't forget to stand up, use your voice, and everything like that. I'll talk to you heathens later. And maybe I can end the stream here in a second. I know I can shut off the streaming. Oh, yep, there it is. All right. I'm going to end the stream before it craps out again.